Welcome back again, typography students. I wanted to take a couple minutes to share with you how to deal with navigation through Blackboard. For some of you guys, this is a newer experience, and so I wanted to cover some of the basics of dealing with what to do when you get into the course, and what things that you should look at and where we're going to be spending most of our time. So the rest of this video is going to discuss navigation through Blackboard. I hope you find it useful and it helps you out. Thank you. Okay, so I've logged into Blackboard and I have my courses listed, and we want to choose our summer typography course. Here it is. And you'll notice that I have announcements. One is, I love this quote, Robert Bringhurst, who wrote The Elements of Typographic Style, mentioned that typography exists to honor content. And what that means is that the content comes first. You have to dissect that content, you have to understand it, and what you do is you design for what it says. So you're designing based on the content. You're not making choices based off of your personal preferences or off of a whimsy. Everything exists based off of the context of which it is related to the content. So so you have to read things, you have to research things, then you can then deal with typography and design. So I really enjoy that quote. It's really simple, short, and to the point. This announcement you've hopefully already read. I did send an email a while back, assuming you were signed up for the course a couple weeks ago. If you weren't, it basically reads similar to this. Basically, it's suggesting a few things that you do to get ready for the course. So you want to read this. I'll go through some of this as far as announcements, class sessions, and so on. So I'm going to assume that you can read and that your reading comprehension skills are at a level where you understand, so I'll let you read that announcement if you already have not. The second announcement, it did mention that each week's announcements and course materials will become available on noon on Mondays. Now, they may show up a little before then, but most of the time it's set for noon. Okay, so here is this week's course material. You'll see that I title it Session 1, Week 1, and then the date of that Monday. So this will happen every week, and if you're not sure what session or week we're on, check this date. Now again, it does mention that we will post the course materials by noon on Mondays. If for some reason it's not showing up, please get with me right away. Email would probably be the best thing, or messaging, but email is the quick way. You do want to check course materials on Monday. Mondays because of the quick turnaround time for the deadlines for this class. Now here is the general outline of course material. Again, this is general, so the specifics would be in the actual folder for the class material in class sessions. Now there is a link to that at the bottom of each announcement. So we have a discussion board where we are introducing ourselves to the class. This is due this Wednesday evening, 11:55, and your responses to all of the folks in the class are due by Friday evening, 11:55. Another thing that we're working on are the open book online quizzes. These occur with the use of the Designing of Type book, and this week we're covering pages 6 through 11. This quiz will be due next Monday at 11:55 p.m. So you have a full week and a little bit longer to do this quiz. There are no makeup quizzes unless you have an excused absence, which we'll cover that in a second. And also having your textbook or not having a textbook is not acceptable as an excuse. Okay? We are actually working on a project. Since this is so condensed and we're squishing 16 weeks into 8 weeks, we are jumping into this right away. So project 1 is entitled Early Letter Forms, and we have an introduction to the project. We have an actual discussion board that we will be posting research and our body copy on. and that's due this Wednesday as well, and responses and critique are due this Friday. And I will be posting some videos on this project when it comes time to whether they're going to be useful. Now here is the link to this information for the course. So this is detailed course information. This is where we access the quiz, where we access the project descriptions, videos, and other things. Now I do have a video I would like you to watch. It's welcoming you to the class. Here is the quiz. To take the quiz, you would click on it, which is the underlined. You hit begin, and then you basically follow along and choose or input what hopefully the correct answers. I'm not sure why that one's 10 points, but hopefully you get that one right. Most questions are 1 or 2 points unless it's a long essay question. Okay, so I'm going to hit the back button. It's going to ask me, do I want to leave the page? Sure, because I'm not wanting to do the quiz. Now, I'll talk about Blackboard Introductions next. Now, this is a discussion board, and a discussion board, the way I have these done is they have a direct link to the discussion board. Now there's another way to get to discussion board, and it's through discussions. So you can either get to it by clicking on this button, and then you will see that discussion board 1 is up. I'm going to hit the back button. Or again, this is kind of a one-stop shopping thing. You know, all of the material is in each week's session. If I were to click on the underline link that says discussion board number 1, it will also take me to that exact same place, only it cuts out an extra step. Now we do have, it looks like 2 people who have already participated in this discussion. So Angela and Nicholas, thank you very much. I have also participated in this. But how we would participate in the discussion is we would click on this Create Thread button, and then you want to put in the subject, hello, my name is, and then put your name, and then introduce yourself. And in addition to this, you want to add a photo of yourself. So you can attach an image by clicking on this really small icon. Looks kind of like a landscape. It's the attach image icon. You would browse your computer and you would go find the image. Now make sure the image is small enough. You may have to open it and readjust it. It needs to be small enough that it doesn't make us scroll when we try to look at you. I'm going to cancel this because I've already done this. You can attach files, which we will do later. I really prefer that you attach your image by using the Attach Image button. Now we have found that JPEGs seem to work better when we do this option. So if it says to do a PDF, then you might want to forgo the PDF and do a JPEG for this particular one. Now when I'm done, I hit Submit, and you will see that my post is there. Now I'm actually going to delete this because it's not got anything in there. And you will see that here's my post. It's already published. And there it is. Now, this PS describes how I got that image, which is I've already talked to you about that. It's by clicking on that icon. Now that icon is not here. If I wanted to edit my post, you know, instead of adding more posts because you forgot to do something, you can click Edit after you click on your own post. And you'll see that I can attach an image, I can change information, and then I would hit Submit when I'm done. So you can edit the post versus making new posts. I prefer that you edit posts versus making new posts. Angela, I'll read what you have to say in a second, so thank you for replying. Please, guys, do reply to my post as well. Thank you. Now, back to my this week's information. Let me see if I missed anything. Again, I'm going back to announcements, and I'm scrolling down to the link that goes to this class session. Oh, let's see here. Oh yes, a lecture. This is just a PowerPoint lecture that kind of introduces you to some of the basics of the course. if you don't have time to get to that right away, it's no big deal. This right here, Project 1 Early Letter Forms, this is a folder. It's not a file. Now, ignore the other stuff. I can see this stuff down here, but you cannot. I've got some older material in here from previous semesters that I'm not using. But here's Project 1 Early Letter Forms. This is click on the underlined text above to access details for this project. Because this project has a few parts, I'm going to have a few videos on it, I went ahead and put it into a folder. So in this folder you will see an item that has the project description or guidelines. These are the attached documents for the project. Okay, it's telling me it wants me to save the file. So I'll see if it'll open it. If this doesn't work, I may have to upload it again. So I'm right-clicking on it and I'm saving the link to the desktop. Now, looks like I already have one there, but so I'm not going to replace it. This is the Viz 113 project. Now, pardon my desktop, and hello, there I am. Pardon my desktop, it's a little messy. Let's see here. Project 1 Summer, RTF, and there we go. There's our Word document. So you would open this and you would read it before you carry on to doing any of the work, because you don't want to do things incorrectly and you want to make sure you're meeting the guidelines and expectations of the project. So you want to read this, okay? This is basically similar to what is in page, I think it's page 120 of your blue Designing with Type book. Very, very similar. There are also examples on pages 121, 122, and 123. So you want to reference that. Now, you should not use or copy. You shouldn't use the body copy or any of the designs that are already here. The copyright infringement is not a good thing to be getting into. So these are just for reference. They're not necessarily for inspiration / duplication. Alright, so it's okay to look at them, but please do not design as you see. Okay, so this is what we're doing is we are basically we're starting the design process. We're choosing a letter from the Phoenician or Greek alphabet, which is the Phoenician Greek alphabet is, if you do the quiz, I believe page 11 has the Phoenician Greek alphabet. So if you do further research, you may find some older Phoenician letters or even older Greek letters that are not in this book. This book is very, very light on the history, and it's not real thorough, but it's adequate for this course. So you know, they have the Phoenician alphabet about 1000 BC and the Greek alphabet about 403 BCE, and that's before Common Era, by the way. And so you might find some discrepancies in some of the designs of the letters when you do your research, but you will choose one letter from the Phoenician or Greek alphabet. You'll research the letter. You'll write approximately 100 words about the letter. And your text should highlight the meaning or illustrate some aspect of the symbol. And you want to write your body copy to be interesting, clever, funny, poetic, or inspiring, or so on, because you really want the viewer to want to read it. If you don't find your text all that interesting, neither will they. Now, your design needs to be two-color. Black is a color. White is not. White is the paper color. So black and one additional color other than white. So you need to, I'll talk to you about how to deal with this in InDesign. You'll choose the color wisely because you're going to be using it in all three compositions. So you want to make sure that you choose your color based off of what you've actually found out or researched. Don't just choose a color because it's your favorite. That's bad. That's a bad way to start designing. All compositions must contain three elements: symbol, display type, and text type. And I want you guys to use an underlying grid for alignment of the elements. I will do a demonstration and a design on how to build various grids. In all the compositions, we would like you to consider white space. White space is equally important to the, there's figure and ground. Figure space is what you're putting in there, ground is what's left over. So the white space that's left over is just as important to your composition as what you put in there. Now you are limited to the use of a few different typefaces, or the use of one typeface, but a choice of a few. So you're going to use one of the 5 classifications, well, one of these 5 fonts that fall within the 5 classifications. So we have Garamond, which is old style, Baskerville, which is transitional, Bodoni, which is considered modern, Century Expanded, which is either slab serif or Egyptian, and Helvetica, which is sans serif. You will use the same typeface for each solution, so you're not mixing typefaces up. The symbol itself. In the first composition, we want you to have the symbol be the most prominent element. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the largest, so consider ways to create emphasis. On the second composition, you want the display type, so the headline, to be the most prominent element. And in the third composition, you want to focus on making the text type the most prominent element. Now that doesn't necessarily mean making it huge. There are some factors when working with text type. Usually text type is set between 9 and 11 points, maybe 12 if it has a small X height, but you don't want to go and blast your body copy or text type out too big. Now we have some technical requirements here. Each composition needs to be 10 by 10. There are sketch requirements which you will receive points for. You want to do 5 sketches for each of these compositions. So 5 sketches where the symbol is the prominent element. 5 sketches where the display type is the prominent element. And all these sketches should look very different from one another, even within the 5 on display type. Don't sketch the same thing 5 times. It's the same kind of design with very little tweaking. That doesn't make any sense. The design should look very different from one another compositionally. Also 5 sketches for how you might deal with text type. Oops, looks like I have a typo. You will be using an underlying grid, and we'll do demonstrations on how to do this. There will be 15 total sketches, considering there will be 5 for symbol, 5 for display, and 5 for text type. We will then refine our best 2 sketches and create 2 full-size drafts for each. So that's 2 for symbol, 2 for display type, and 2 for text type, which is 6 total. And then finally, we'll refine the best draft and create our final solutions. This will end up being 1 symbol, 1 display, 1 text. So through process of elimination and refinement, we will finally get down to 1. Our deadlines are posted here, plus I will share with you specific deadlines in the weekly announcements and how to post things through discussion board. As far as how you're graded, this is how we would grade the project. So if you are sacrificing some things or making some choices based off of other than what's here, you can see what those things are worth. So you can see that each of these items is worth different points, and keep in mind that presentation and critique are worth 25% of the final project grade. Now, during the development of the project, the discussion boards are worth 40 points apiece, and that does not factor in, well, it does, I guess, factor into this to some extent, because if you didn't participate in the sketches discussion, then you would also forfeit the 10 points here plus the 40 points for the sketch discussion. So yes, you can mess up your points 2 times over, so be careful. So here's, this is what we call a grading rubric. This is how you're graded. This adds up to 100 points for the finished project, the polished finished project, and your description of the project. So you want to make sure you describe how you have chosen elements and why. That's really important during your critiques and when you're presenting your stuff through Blackboard. Now I'm going to close this out. I'm assuming you can read. Now let me go back to our class here. Now, this is a discussion. And you see this picture right here with a person and two silhouettes. So what it says is to click on the underlined text above this text titled Project 1 Research and Body Copy to participate in the discussion. However, you want to read the project guidelines before you participate in the discussion, because if you click on this discussion, you don't even see any project guidelines. So I'm going to hit the back button. Now, you want to read this. Again, if your reading comprehension skills are not that great, then you may want to consider taking a face-to-face typography course. I know we have one in Indianapolis this semester. It's already met, so I don't know that you could add it. But or wait till the fall, because reading comprehension is extremely important. So I need you to read this information and follow instructions. Okay? So you will create a thread and you will discuss some key points here, and then this is once you've done some research, and you will write 100 words of body copy, and you will put that at the bottom of this discussion. And then this is due Wednesday, so the turnaround time is really fast. And then by Friday you will want to respond to at least 5 other students who have posted and facilitate discussion with them and give them critique. Now, this is not the only discussion board. We have 2 this week. This one is related to the project. Now, the other one is in the, if I hit the back button, let me go back. In here, you have this discussion board 1, introductions. There are instructions on how to do this one as well. Please follow these instructions. Again, reading is critical, and please provide what we're asking. So this is what we're asking. Okay. I'm particularly interested in these things. However, you can elaborate on more about yourself. You will also include a picture. So let me go through here and show you how to access that. Click on, again, the discussion board introduction. Oh, we have more. And then I hit create thread. And I put my name. I introduce myself and answer the questions. And I attach my image by clicking here. Okay, so there's another little bit of review. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. Hello, Michaela. Thank you. I will look at your stuff soon. She just did this about 20 minutes ago. I'm going to go back to the class sessions. And here I'm going to go back to our first session. And so we have this discussion board, which is an introduction. You will respond to all of your peers in this discussion. You want to meet everyone in the class. But the early letter forms discussion for Project 1, for the research and the 100 words, you only need to respond to 5 of your peers. Now, I'm not putting you guys in groups, but respond to 5 of your peers. Post by June 12th, Wednesday, 11:55. And then respond to 5 of your student peers on this topic, facilitating discussion and making helpful suggestions. Now, how do we discuss our work? Let's go to resources here, and let's see what we have. We have a critique guide. Now, when you're discussing your work, it's really important that you discuss strategy and concept development and design, and answer these questions, or describe your project based off these bullet points. When you are critiquing someone, you also use this guide, obviously, it's a critique guide, and you discuss any critique you have based off of these bullet points and questions. So if you feel that something needs to be improved as far as meeting the objectives of the assignment, or expressing the content or whatever. You want to facilitate some discussion by providing helpful feedback. Okay? Also, keep in mind that these professions that you guys are planning on choosing are very important. So you might want to read a little bit about what that is. We see graphics everywhere, and photography and web design. We just see it everywhere. So just having a clear understanding about how visual art is an important profession is nice to know. Also in resources, I have a YouTube channel, so I have lots of videos there. There's just tons of them, and they're for every semester, but what I will do is I will create links through Blackboard to those videos so you don't have to go digging through them. Library resources are here, websites, logo type design. There's just different kinds of websites. Designer's Toolbox is a great one if you're trying to figure out like templates for something. You can copy and paste if these links don't work, just copy and paste the URL into the web browser. But Designer's Toolbox is great. So if you're like, oh man, I got to do a business card, but I don't know how big one is. This, or I've got an envelope I've got to design, I don't know what size to use. This is a great way to find those things and also get the measurements, and you can download what's called a template or die line. Okay, so you have lots of different things, postcard sizes, business card sizes. So if you don't know some of the standards, you don't have to go measuring. It's right here. So we're in the United States, so you would have use the United States for business card is 3.5 by 2. Other countries it's different. So this is kind of cool. If you're designing something internationally, it gives you some information on how to deal with that. Okay, so Designer's Toolbox is a great resource. Let me hit the back button. And I also have fonts. So yay, all the fonts you could ever think of. Not really, but there's 2,000 different font files here. These are for educational use only. These are professional grade fonts. It discusses how you would load them both on Mac and PC. The fonts that are listed in the project are in here. But if I click on this, you will see here is fonts organized by name. This is actually all of those fonts. It is zipped. So you would download this to your desktop and then double click and it'll unzip. And then here are instructions, a video on how to load the fonts. At least I'm doing it on a Mac, but I do discuss also how to do it on a PC, even though it's not a video of a PC. So if you need Garamond or Baskerville or Bodoni or Century Expanded or Helvetica, you want to load open type fonts that are provided by me through this resource. Okay, so again, that's resources and fonts for educational use only. You cannot use these for professional work. It is illegal. You do not own the license to use these fonts. This is just for educational stuff. Okay? Okay, now another place we would need to go is Start Here. And Start Here has, the syllabus. It has syllabus here. There we go. There's a syllabus in a raw text format in a Microsoft Word document. Required text and materials, mainly just the textbook is in here. Required is the designing with type, but if you don't know how to use InDesign CS6 very well, you might want to get a quick start guide, but that's not required. Just recommended. Course policies and procedures, it's important that you click on that. It talks about due dates and deadlines, attendance policy. Also, it talks about, it speaks to makeup policies, excused absences, that kind of thing. And we also cover what the last day is to withdraw from the course and not receive a grade. Also, if you're not attending or not participating when the last day, we will basically drop you. The college will. Okay? So you want to read through those. All right. Now, the next thing I would like to cover is messaging. You're supposed to send messages to me, not emails, unless for some reason I haven't gotten your message or it's urgent, then you can send me an email. But you want to click on Communication and Tools. And you can email me through here, but there is a Messages area. You may not have to scroll down as much as I do. Oop, I got a message. And basically, I'm asking you guys to send me your testing center information. So Nick Milliken, thank you for sending me your testing preference. Again, you want to send this through messages. You do not want to send this through email. So when you go to create a message, you click on the create message button. And I can click on the to, and you would send this to me. And then you click on this arrow, it puts me over there. So this is the recipient, and then you want to type in here testing center preference, and maybe your name. Okay, tell me what testing site and the location. There are so many testing sites and regions that if you just tell me you're a Columbus student, I cannot assume that you want to test at the Columbus campus. You may want to test at one of their other testing facilities. So give me a specific location, and I will make sure that I forward the testing paperwork. Once you're finished putting that information in, you hit submit, and I will get your message. So you'll see that I have just messaged myself. I'm going to delete that. Okay, now where do you find testing? Well, if you go to My Blackboard tab up here near the center, and then you click on the far left under Hot Links, click on Testing Site Info, you scroll down, and here are all of the different regions. Now, for instance, I was talking about Columbus. Well, you have a Brown County testing site, Columbus Assessment Center, you have Franklin, you have Greensburg, you have a Jackson County area, and a Jennings County area. So when you tell me you're a Columbus student and you want to test at Columbus, I don't know if that means at an off-site or an on-site testing center. Here we have 5 or 6 to choose from just for Columbus. Central Indiana, I think we only have 2. Oh no, now we have 3. Shelbyville including. So please be specific as to which testing center. Otherwise, you will receive a message back from me asking you for the specifics. Okay, let me go back to our typography class. Type. See if there's anything else I need to cover here. Announcements we already covered. Start here. I've covered that. Discussions I've covered. Class sessions, that's where we have every weekly session, but there's a link to these through the announcements, so you don't usually have to go there. My grades is where you would check your grade. If you need to contact me directly, you can click on Instructor, and you'll see that there's my email here. And I'm planning on being in my office 11 to noon and 1 to 3 on Wednesdays. I will try to figure out if there's a way I can do online office hours through WIMBA. I will let you know how I'm going to manage that at a later date. Communication and tools, again, that's where you can message me or email me if you don't hear from me after you've sent me a message. And then there's help if you need some help with some stuff. Now you won't have this course management stuff because you're a student. Okay, so that was an overview of how we work with Blackboard, how important announcements are, and how important reading is and comprehension. How our announcement has a link to each week's information, videos that you can watch, quizzes, discussion boards. We got one that's an introduction and one in the early letter forms project. Okay, so there's 2 discussion boards this week. And if you go to discussions, you will see Discussion Board 1, Introductions, and Discussion Board 2, Early Letter Forms. So make sure that you complete both of those discussions. Those are 40 points apiece. Okay? And it does say here that you have an Introduction Discussion Board number 1 and a Discussion Board number 2 for Project 1 Early Letter Forms. If you have any questions, message me, or here's another place you can message. You can kind of discuss general things. In discussions, there is questions about this course, and you can post some questions to each other. Usually I'm the one that answers them, but if you have a question about something you need some clarity and you didn't do it through messaging, I have an old post from a student who said, hey, for future classes within design you might want to mention something, so I left that one because it was really helpful. But yeah, if you have something that's questions about the course, you can put it there or message me. All right, so I think that kind of wraps up this session of Blackboard, just to get you used to some things, and hopefully you found it useful. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you online.